roughing the passer calls.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to, week 3 of Roughing the Passer season 2. Of course, my name is the DH, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, like every week, Mr. Newman. What's up, man? Crazy game for you guys today.
Hey, both of our teams won, so we both should be in good moods. One of us was expecting it. One of us wasn't, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because they're both W's anyway. You slice it.
That they are. But welcome, everybody, once again. We are the only NFL's live call-in show. You see the link there. I'm going to put the link here in the comments in just a moment. And we invite you guys to call in with anything, any questions you may have, any comments about anything, any game today, whatever it may be. Call in, let us know. We've got a question we're going to post here in a little bit if you'd like to call in and give your opinion on that as well. But first, John, we got to welcome some new viewers as we've got, we've always broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, but we are now on Twitch as well. So everybody out there in Twitch land, what's up? Thanks a ton for tuning in. So we're expanding a little bit, John.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, expansion happens in sports, and football is probably ahead of baseball as the national pastime. So why not expand and get more people involved? Right. To those that are not familiar with this format, I'll segue off what Drew just said there. We let you call in. You can come on the screen, tell us we're right, we're wrong, or your question or thoughts. That's what this is all about. So,
no, absolutely. What's going on, Don? That's exactly what this is about. This is y'all's show. We're here to discuss some football, but we want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So call in and let us know anything. And the question we're going to have running throughout the show, which we'll get to our opinion on it a little bit later, but call in and let us know your opinion if you'd like, or anything else. And it kind of has to do with the game that's going on right now, and that is Drew Brees done as a top-tier quarterback. He definitely looks like it at times, John. We'll go into hopefully more detail if someone calls in here in a little bit. But to me, I'm very familiar with him. We play him twice a year, and we have his whole career. So I've watched him his whole career twice or 3 times a year, and I don't see it anymore, man. There's a problem there.
Since the surgery, they just put up a stat earlier in this game that he's not throwing down the field as effectively with consistency. And, I know Michael Thomas is out of the lineup the last few games, and that doesn't help you. But, this was a concern even before that.
I was about to say, way before that. And
so now I think it's even be more, Michael Thomas can make me and you probably have a decent stat line as quarterback. So now, he's got a great career. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm watching him this year, and I just don't see a guy that's going to bring another Super Bowl back to New Orleans, and I think that's why he came back this year, the one last year to try to get that done. And Saint fans aren't going to like me saying this, but I don't see it.
No, and I agree with you, and that's a big problem in New Orleans. That's exactly why he came back. There's no other reason to whatsoever. They built this team to win. They have a team that's built to win, but he's struggling, and he's struggling on throws. It's his velocity. It's not like he's throwing the ball with his normal zip, with everything going normal, and it's just not, the accuracy is not there, the velocity's not there, the progression's not there. He's staring down receivers way too much, which is something he never did. So I don't know. That's my opinion on that. But guys, please call in throughout the show and let us know what you guys think if Drew Brees is done as an NFL top tier quarterback. And when we say that, we're talking about a quarterback that can lead a team legitimately to a Super Bowl, not a team, not just a quarterback that's going to put up good stats, but a quarterback that can lead a team to a Super Bowl. So call in, let us know what you think. To me, John, and I think you agree with me here. I do not see it anymore. But we're going to move on now. And John, I guess we'll go right down the order to start. We'll dive in and just take a look at some of the scores. I'm going to drive through couple of scores as we scroll down today. Obviously, the 49ers with a surprise over the Giants. Tell me some games that stick out to you as you see.
The Giants probably should not be in the NFL.
Yes.
At this point. We'll talk more probably about that game later on, so I won't spend too much time. That Bills-Rams game was a shootout.
We had a tie. We had a tie today.
We had a tie, with the Bengals. A late hit on Joe Burrow shook him up as well in that game. The Bills-Rams game was a slugfest. A couple of questionable calls late. The Titans escaped in Minnesota. How about talking about surprise 0-3 teams? Minnesota right there at the top of that list.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. You've got a ton of games. You look at a lot of scores and you see right now you got 13-10 Packers over the Saints for the Sunday night game. But you go through the list of these games, a lot of very close games today, a lot of exciting football today. But this was really, I'm going to go on and coin week 3, the week of the comeback, because you had countless just comebacks like crazy. And we're going to start obviously with one that seems to happen every single time there's a game that they should win, or every single time that they're in a game, it seems nowadays, and that's the Atlanta Falcons, who the Bears getting blown out, bench Mitch Trubisky, which, that didn't take long. Big Dick Nick comes in, and the Falcons, sure enough, blow another insanely enormous lead and lose 30-26 to Chicago. It's absolutely ridiculous, and me being a Panther fan, I fucking love it. It's wonderful, but this is, we talked about, remember last year it was a running theme. When was Dan Quinn going to be fired? How long before Dan Quinn gets fired? I think, in COVID and everything, I don't know if you change, maybe the Falcons do, because football seems to be doing great under all of this. But, this is another massive collapse under Quinn and Matt Ryan. Let's not leave him out of this too. It's both of them. But this is another massive collapse by these guys. And,
and it's a week after that Dallas game that we
exactly. No, that's
like, this isn't like, there wasn't even like a week between the Dallas game and then this happened. This literally is the next week. And it's crazy. If I don't know how Dan Quinn does survive this. There's a picture of him at the end of that game. And the color is out of his face. He looks like a guy that knows, like, it's over here. And 20 points, 20 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
Well, no, listen to this.
Go ahead.
Listen to this one stat. All right, there's a stat that I saw, and it blew my mind, and it shows you just exactly how this Atlanta team is right now. The Falcons have had a 98% win probability in the fourth quarter for consecutive weeks and lost both games. 98%. If you're given a 98% win probability, it's a blowout. Now, we've actually got a caller here we're going to bring in here real quick. We've got Scotty Huffman. What's going on, man?
What's up, Drew? How are you doing, bud?
Doing good. A bewildered Panthers fan. I feel you right there, man. I 100% understand that. But what's going on?
You guys won today.
We did.
No, that wasn't the goal. Like, what are we going to? That's exactly what I'm calling in. Like, why did we win? Like, why were we going to go 6-10?
No, I completely agree. Why did our defense all of a sudden decide to start tackling? Yeah, I have no clue. No idea.
Yeah, and it was just. It's so perplexing. They do this every year. They'll win 2 or 3 meaningless games, and we'll fall from a top 5 pick to the 12th pick. Then we'll rinse and repeat the next year. Yeah. Like, this is exactly what I'm calling in about. Like, just take your L's this year. Set us up. We got a generational quarterback coming out in the draft, and Trevor Lawrence. Take the L's. The Jets are real bad. We're going to have to 1-2 wins is going to get it done this year. So.
Oh, no, we'll be talking a lot about those bad Jets later. But, you're dead on, man. I was shocked. I was actually watching us winning, and I'm sorry. I'm used to us. I like seeing.
Either I'm going out or can you hear me, Newman?
I can hear you. Yeah, I don't know if it might be Drew.
Yeah,
Drew froze on my screen.
Yeah, he's going to say the same things I am. It's just
I'm not a Panthers fan, so I'll come at it from a not a Panthers fan perspective, Scotty. I mean, I get where you're coming from. If you're not going to have a run at a Super Bowl or playoffs, he's back.
No. What I was saying was, I completely agree with you, man. Sorry, StreamYard has been terrible this weekend, guys. We do apologize about that, but no, I completely agree with you. But it's one of those things where. I mean, I like to see us win. It's nice to see us win always, and I like to see some progression from some players. But I mean, you don't win these games. Come on, stop it. There's going to be you're tanking. We're in a full-on rebuild, especially with CMC down now. The defense. I mean, unless this defense can play that good every single week, which, to be honest, they didn't even really play that great. Justin Herbert played good. He did not have – I mean, he had a couple of bad plays, but otherwise he played a very good game. He brought them back, and I thought he was going to bring them back to beat us. I really did. But our defense started to actually pay attention. But I'm with you. I'm just as bewildered as you on why we decided to show up today of all days after maybe it was because CMC came down. We rallied around it. I don't know. But I'm not really all for tanking normally, but – I mean, I guess when it comes to my team, I am. I don't know, Newman, but what do you think, John?
I don't know if you can tank this year, man. The Giants, if the Giants played the Jets, I don't think they beat each other. That's how bad they are. No one would win. They're that bad. So I don't think you're going to get that number 1 pick, no matter really what you do. I think you're better than those 2 teams. Jacksonville was rumored to be, tanking for Trevor, and they're not playing bad football. I think it's going to be the Jets or Jets. And then what do you do let's talk about the Jets and Giants. If they get the number 1 pick, you have Darnold and Daniel Jones, who are supposed to be franchise quarterbacks. What do they do?
Well, that's why maybe Carolina can sneak in there with a trade, because they're both of them probably trade that pick because for some reason both organizations are stuck on those quarterbacks.
That or they trade Darnold or Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
I mean, don't rule that out. What I saw today of Daniel Jones, I'm not feeling good if I'm a Giants fan. I don't think that guy is what they think he is. And so if I'm the Giants and I have the number 1 pick, I'd rather trade Daniel Jones and keep the number 1 pick and draft Lawrence than trade the number 1 pick and keep Jones. So
absolutely,
so many storylines that are going to be even in the offseason. I mean, we're only in week 3 and we're talking about the draft.
That's what you do when your team's shitty. No,
you got to have something to look forward to, and they go and blow it today.
Absolutely,
mess it all up. So.
Absolutely. Well, Scotty, thanks so much for calling in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Enjoy the show, guys.
Thanks, bud. Call in anytime. And guys, see, there you go. Just anything you guys want to talk about, anything about your team. If you just want to get it on the air so it's on record and some people see it, your opinions on your team, call in, let us know. It doesn't matter. We want to hear about it, and we want to hear about it from you guys. But But yeah, so John, where were we right when we were? Okay, we're talking about the Falcons, and that their epic shitty ass
like
collapse
every
today.
week. I mean, it's like reruns, you know.
Yes.
And you know the thing that kills me is Dan Quinn is a defensive coach, and they're blowing these leads, 20-point. They give up 20 points in the fourth quarter. Like, that is insane. Like, if you're even if you're a good coach, you're going to be on the hot seat. Now we really have to wonder. This is sort of his track record going back to the Patriots Super Bowl.
All the way back there.
Yeah, one time, okay, fool me. The old fool me once, fool me twice. This is just a reoccurring theme.
Well, no, and that's something I wanted to ask you because, it sounds all like, I'm not one of those people that likes to fully embrace, ridiculous theories and, conspiracy theories and all this type of stuff. But you go back to the Super Bowl. You look at that Super Bowl collapse, and then you look at what you just said, Atlanta's track record since then. And the amount of games that, in comparison to other close games that they've come back and won, it's heavily outmatched by massive blown leads and close games. It's really been something that's a reoccurring theme since the Super Bowl. And I honestly think that Dan Quinn, some people aren't built for that mentally. What happened in that Super Bowl was, I don't think a lot of people understand. When you're in that position, you bleed it. It's your life. It's everything. If you're literally 12 minutes away from everything that you've been working for, and then it's all ripped away from you when it's a guarantee, some people mentally aren't strong enough to come back from that. And I don't know if Dan Quinn, as a coach, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to come back from that. And Matt Ryan, I think, is just getting to the point where he's just getting a little old. He still made some beautiful throws today, but Dan Quinn's just, I don't think he's mentally strong enough to recover from that.
Here we go with the topic we've talked about before. Some guys are better coordinators, Drew, than head coaches. The North Turners, right?
Oh, he'll be a head coach. He'll be a head coach next year. A coordinator next year.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be a head coach at least for a while. And look what he did with Seattle's defense. He can coach. We can't. He can coordinate. Maybe we shouldn't say coach. He can coordinate, but maybe head coach. I think he's lost that locker room.
Yes.
I think he's lost that locker room. I think, I don't want to say players quit. But what is going on? Is he playing conservative once he gets the lead? There's something going on there. Like you could try to blow a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter and still run out of time and hang on and win. And so when you see what happens today, it just it's a dumpster fire. Whether he's got like a picture of Arthur Blank in a woman other than Arthur Blank's wife, I don't know. But even if he does, it's time for Arthur Blank. He's got to do something because I know we don't have fans in the stands because of the pandemic. But if under normal circumstances, fandom is not going to come to these games unless there's some sort of, Arthur Blank does something to say, hey, I'm pissed off too, like you, and we're going to make some around here. I read some tweets this afternoon from Falcons fans where a few of them renouncing their fandom and saying they were following this team. And that's, I know a lot of that is sarcastic or funny, but the fact that even occurs, the state of this franchise right now. And they went, that Super Bowl wasn't that many years ago, and look how far they've fallen. And it's not only are they blowing these games late, they're winless. It's not like they're 1-4 or they're 2-4 and they haven't won a game. There's something going on. His voice is probably not being heard. When a coach is somewhere for a while, they say that voice doesn't get through.
Yeah. No, I think I think you're dead on. I think he's lost the locker room, and I don't think it's long before he goes. But we're gonna move on now to another game today, and that, of course, we talked about him just a minute ago. So I want to touch on him. I want to touch on them a little bit more. Them as a team, and then a specific question, and that, of course, is Sam Darnold and the Jets. The Jets being one of those teams that are fighting my Panthers. They keep trying to take that number one spot from us, but the Jets today against the Colts, losing 36-7. Sam Darnold looked horrific. Sam Darnold looked terrible. I want to pull up something right now and show you. Because this was one of the interceptions that he threw. We have a caller. I'll pull that up in just a moment. But Dave, welcome to the show, bud.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good.
Hey,
What's
Dave.
going on?
So I got a question for you. What do you think? What do you think about Nick Foles? His performance coming off the bench.
I think that Nick Foles is built for exactly what he did today. I think Nick Foles is just he's a good quarterback. That's not, in my opinion, he's never going to be that. I mean, he's that backup that comes in to win games. He's that guy that you need, and I think in this league you need that. And I think you're going to start to see a lot more guys like maybe the Daniel Jones and maybe the guy that we're talking about, Sam Darnold, guys that move to some strong backup roles. But I thought Nick Foles did exactly what I expected Nick Foles to do. Come in and play good football. The Bears have an incredibly talented team. The defense is strong. The offense, they've been building an offense for Mitch for a long, long time now. And, Nick Foles comes in there. He sees a lot of fun. And, he, at least in my opinion, he came in and did exactly what I expected. What do you think, John?
Well, look what they paid him, right? I think they expected him to play. I think what they paid Nick Foles spoke more not about Nick Foles, but what they honestly thought about Mitch Trubisky. I didn't think they had confidence into him going into the year. That's why they paid Nick Foles that money. This is a contract year for Mitch. I think the writing's now definitely on the wall that he's going to be wearing a different jersey in 2021. Whether Nick Foles is the quarterback for Chicago in 2021 remains to be seen. But I think what this says is that Mitch Trubisky is going to have to, if he's going to be a good quarterback, it's going to have to happen in another city other than Chicago. And we've talked about this before. The guys they could have had in that slot, Patrick Mahomes and
millions of them. They've had countless.
They reached. He's shown flashes, but he can't be consistent. And when you're not consistent, you're not gonna start for very long. And so I think it's over.
Yeah, no, Dave. I'm assuming you're a Bears fan, correct? Calling in and asking about the Bears. Are you a Bears fan?
No, I'm actually a Cowboys fan, but I was watching the game.
Okay, so what do you expect? I mean, what do you think about Nick coming in?
He's a good quarterback. I mean, look what he did for Philly when he came in off the bench there. Yeah. I just don't know if he was as good as he showed today, or if the Falcons just.
No, I'll tell you right now, the Falcons, he looked good because he was playing the Falcons and Dan Quinn with a lead. I mean, that's just plain up and simple. Nick Foles will not look this good every single week. He's not consistent enough, and that's why he's bounced from team to team, and he's come in and he's played great. He is one of those guys, I'll give him credit. He's one of the few backup quarterbacks that can come right off the bench and play great. That's hard for a lot of people to do. Sometimes it takes them 2-3 weeks to get comfortable, and then before they truly can perform. He's one of those guys that can step in and immediately be effective. But that consistency is never there. It's never been there, and that's why it baffled me when Chicago gave him that contract. All it said to me was they knew they would be doing what they did today, benching Mitch at some time this year. And, that I just think that's how it's going to be going forward. I think you're going to see him come out tomorrow and say, Mitch is our starting quarterback. He had a bad game, blah, blah, blah. Mitch is going to struggle again. They're going to have to pull him. And then eventually it'll be Foles' job the rest of the year. But, it's going to be one of those things in Chicago where they're going to be drafting a quarterback, but you've got to hit. You have to do your homework. Like John said, you've passed up on literally tons of generational quarterbacks, and you're stuck with this bullshit every single year.
Chicago fell in love with numbers on a piece of paper.
Yes.
The height, the measurables at the combine. All you had to do was watch him at North Carolina. He wasn't terrible, but nothing in that catch-22 tape screamed, let's trade up and get this guy ahead of where scouts project him to go and steal him. And that's what they did. They tried to outsmart the room when the room didn't need to be outsmarted. Yeah. They outsmarted themselves, and they set themselves back. I think we all know this is a quarterback-driven league now, and when you don't have one that can drive that car, you're gonna struggle. Now Chicago is winning games, but not pretty. And
no.
Even a Bears fan will tell you that they're not. There's very few Bear fans that think Trubisky is the long-term solution, to their ills.
Absolutely.
That sounds good. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about him. I was wondering about his sports cards too, because I see a lot of people buying them all of a sudden, but I figured that's probably just because.
Yeah, no. If you're gonna buy him, wait a couple weeks. He's not gonna have a good game. I promise. He's too inconsistent. He will struggle. They will drop. I mean, sell him if you got him, sports card wise. I mean, sell him if you got him, make the money. But they're gonna drop. They're gonna settle back down. I mean, he's not. Let's be honest. This Bears team's not about to reel off 8 straight wins with Nick Foles behind quarterback. And so, I mean, they're gonna drop back down to reality very, very quickly. It's a very, very large collecting fan base overreacting to something that they're desperately dying for, and that's a quarterback to believe in, honestly. Yeah. But hopefully that answered the question a little bit for you.
Yeah, good. Thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching the show, man. Once again, guys, that's exactly why we have this show. Please keep calling in. We love it. But John, back to what I was back to what we were getting into, and that Sam Darnold and the Jets and his future, because this is just absolutely brutal. But I have something that I want to pull up and show you, because this was one of his interceptions today, and it's just bad. I don't see how in the world. I mean, just watch this play. I all I can do is just say, just watch it. There's no one there, like no one.
Yeah, he's staring down a target.
Yes, he's staring down the target, but the target runs the wrong route, and he still throws the right route. What are you doing? Like, it's one thing. It's one thing if he's your third progression and he runs the wrong route. He's staring him down. He sees him run the curl instead of the out, yet he still throws an out. What the fuck are you doing? Like, are you kidding me?
He's seeing ghosts again, is what he's doing.
Yes.
It's sad because I'm going to be honest with you. You're gonna maybe be surprised by my answer. He played absolutely abysmal today. So there's no sugarcoating that. There's no making anything other than what it is. I think he's better than this. I think the problem is where he's at. I mean, the Jets are just a farce of an NFL organization. Adam Gase, again, another guy that should be a coordinator. And not a head coach.
Yes.
How he's still employed. Him and Dan Quinn, must have the same photographers snapping
exactly
shots of the owners with their
mistresses. They got the Jeff Fisher hook up somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it is, man.
The Jets need to like clean their coaching staff up. I believe Sam Darnold could be a solid franchise NFL quarterback under the right tutelage, but they don't have that right now. And so, the Jets got to decide, like, are they going to just keep letting Gase, take down the Titanic here, or are they going to kick the captain off the ship and try to salvage Darnold's career? Because the Jets may have that number one pick at this rate. And then what do? We just had this conversation. Do they stay with Darnold and trade out of that spot? Not if Adam Gase is the coach. And, and if you go with Lawrence, let's say the Jets have the number one pick, I sure as heck don't. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I don't want Adam Gase.
But you also have to see if they have a new head coach. Does that coach even want Trevor Lawrence? What does he think of him? Is that even who he wants as his guy? I mean, there's a lot to. There's a lot to.
This may be one of those rare years, Drew. This may be one of those rare years where we actually see the number one pick actually get traded for a bunch of picks, maybe even a couple players in the same deal, depending on.
Who has it? Yeah. Absolutely. Well, all right. Well, we'll move on now to we've actually got a question from Nicholas Gable. What's up, Nick? Thanks for watching, bud. And he wanted to add, he was talking about the Cowboys and what are our thoughts about Russell Wilson's performance today against the Cowboys. So we'll just touch on that whole game in general, because that game, for one, oh my God, Russell Wilson. I mean, setting NFL records, first quarterback, most touchdowns after 3 weeks with 14 now. He is just absolutely lighting it up. Lockett's lighting it up. They looked incredible. But the thing is, they better put up those points every single week, because that defense that's normally so good, it's fucking terrible. Like, they better put up those points. But Dallas, their defense. I know they've had some injuries, obviously, but they have a lot of cause for concern right now.
Well, I'll say this, and we'll start off with Russell Wilson. You might as well give him the MVP award today.
Yes.
He looks like a man. He looks like a man on a mission. He looks like a guy that's pissed off that he didn't get it when he probably should have got it. And that team's transitioned from a team with Russell kind of being sort of a game manager and that defense carrying them, to Russell Wilson saying, I got to do this kind of all myself, and he's delivering. And I have him on both of my fantasy teams. I have Tyler Lockett on both of my fantasy teams. I'm 5-1 combined, and so. Having Munster a Munster year, I think it's going to continue. This is not for those who want to say, well, he's catching lightning in a bottle. He's always been an excellent quarterback, and he's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yes.
If you want to,
100%.
Patrick Mahomes in the conversation, Lamar Jackson, I don't think has the body of work yet to be in that conversation yet. I think it's you look at it. I think it's Mahomes, and I think it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another below, the next tier.
No, absolutely. You have to look at Russ, and I think Russell Wilson. Honestly, I think he looks at. I honestly think he looks at Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Big Ben, a lot of Phillip Rivers, these guys that he came in, right around the same time, after some of them, but still around the same time. He's been in this league for a long time. I think he knows that eventually his skills aren't going to be where they are. He's got a family. That family keeps getting bigger. And, I think he wants another ring. And like you said, he looks determined. He looks like a man on a mission. I think he wants to win. If he were to win a Super Bowl, I would not be shocked to see him hang it up. I think he would go straight into broadcasting and be fine with it. I don't think he has many years left, as many as people think. I think he's done great outside with money wise and endorsement wise, I don't think he's one of those guys that stays in until he's 45 or 50. And so I see him pushing really hard because he sees a team that, this team's phenomenal. DK Metcalf dropped the pass today that was so pathetic that it's not, he didn't drop it, he caught it, but then he let the dude knock it out of his hands at the 1 yard line. Or Russ would have had even more. But yeah, Russ has been absolutely incredible. The Seahawks look great, but absolutely. But I guess, John, we've been going down pretty quick, so we'll try and make this segment pretty quick today because there's a couple other things I want to touch on today. But we'll go on with our Game Balls and Goats. We'll go into our Game Balls and Goats segment. And guys, please call in and join the show. And if you have a game ball or a goat, game balls obviously being, the guys you thought played great today, and goats, we don't call them goats as in greatest of all time. They're, the piece of shit performance today. So I guess, John, I'm going to let you kick it off. We're going to do 2 today since it's a little short show, but who's your first? We'll start off with goats. Who's your first goat this week?
Well, all right. Well, so I'll get the funny stuff out of the way. Both my goats have a first name of Dan, and both my game balls have a first name of Nick. So it's Dan's and Nick. So my first goat, I know we like to give it to players, but he got it last week. He's getting it again.
Wow.
Dan Quinn. Quinn. I try not to give it to him, but I can't see I can't unsee what I saw today and not give him a goat. That is he right now. If you look up goat, not the good goat, but the bad goat in the dictionary, there's going to be a picture of Dan Quinn right there, and right next to Adam Gase for that matter. But Dan Quinn, just a goat. Atlanta Falcons fan. He's probably, has to run to his car.
Yes. Well, John, I'd make this nice and easy. My first goat was the exact same one. So I've started right here. Our Dan Quinn goat meter. It is now at 3. We will see how long. We're at 3 weeks in, and we now have 3. So we will put it right over here. We will update it every week, and hopefully, Dan Quinn, you can maybe get off this list sometime. I'm not thinking you're going to, but maybe. Yes, Dan Quinn, holy fuck. It seems like ever since we started the show, you've just been terrible. Last year, it was a running theme. This year, it's going to be a bigger one. I completely agree with you. But for your second goat, who you got for your second goat of the day?
Another Dan. It's something with the guy's name Dan today. Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I know they're missing Barkley. I get it. But this guy fumbles once every game, so count, and then he throws picks.
Yes, he does.
And he throws picks, and so he's a turnover machine, 160 yards passing. His completion rate was terrible. I know the 49ers are decent, but they're down guys. Nick Bosa's out of the lineup. And he got, Nick Mullins looked like the franchise quarterback before Daniel Jones did. And so if I'm a Giants fan, I'm not, thankfully. If I'm a Giants fan, I'm like, what do we got after Saquon? And that line is getting Saquon killed. And I just don't know. Joe Judge was supposed to be this disciplinarian coach off the Belichick tree, and they get blown out. They literally just get run out of the gym by Nick Mullins in a depleted 49ers team.
No, and depleted's not even the right word. I said it on the picks. They were one of my only. I did really good this week in my picks, except for that game. That 49ers team had no business. They might as well have been Keanu Reeves and the fucking Replacements. They had no business being out on an NFL football field, and they absolutely destroyed them. It blew my mind.
Yeah, I didn't think the Giants were going to win. Don't misinterpret my whole rant as thinking the Giants were going to beat the 49ers. But the way this game
the way
went, and they just got track meted, Daniel Jones looking horrible, and the game was never in question. The Giants are, how about the two, the two New York City teams, if you will, where I'm originally from, just both of those. I mean, if you know anything about the New York media, they're going to have a field day. They love either when they're really doing bad, like they are now, or they're really doing good and not in between. And so, the
headlines are excellent when they're bad. I love the headlines when they're bad.
Yeah. And so, Giants and Jet fans, I don't know what you look forward to. And here's two teams that are probably going to vie for that number one pick that believe, at least I believe internally think they have their potential guys in Darnold and Daniel Jones. I don't, but I don't work for those teams. And so what if one of those teams gets that number one pick? We talked about this already. What do you do here? And there's so many storylines in play. I don't think either team thought they were going to be in the mix for the number one pick. And yet here we are. These teams are terrible. I mean, who do they play where they're actually favored other than each other?
Right. No, those are the games they'll be favored as each other.
Yeah. But other than that, they both could lose the rest of the year. I'm not saying I'm predicting it, but that they're gonna be the underdog in every game except if they met. I mean, if they play the Bengals, if they play Jacksonville, Bengals and Jacksonville will be favored against both of these teams, and rightfully so. And so, what do you do?
Right.
I think in the Jets case, you got to get rid of Adam Gase. The Giants just hired Joe Judge. You got to give him some time. Man, if I'm a Daniel Jones guy, I'm not feeling good right now because he's not living up. I know he's young.
Well, I wouldn't
his second year, but
I wouldn't feel good because I don't know if he was ever Joe Judge's guy. Really, that's where I would be worried. And I agree with you on Daniel Jones. He played like complete shit, and he definitely deserves a goat of the week. And for my second and final goat of the week, I've got to go with none other than good old Mitch Trubisky. I mean, it's just, come on, man. Like, the dude's just, like I said, he might settle in as a career backup. I look at him as... I honestly don't even know if he stays in the league. I can see him as an unemployed guy that gets signed when teams get decimated by injury. I can see him falling that bad. It's very, very rough right now with Mitch. I do expect to see the Bears come out and say he's a starter next week, and I expect him to get brutalized again. Trubisky is not an NFL quarterback in my eyes, and he's my GOAT. Just absolutely terrible. So I guess now we'll move on to our game balls. We'll do our game balls real quick, and then we got a couple other things to do before the show wraps up.
Yeah.
Guys, please call in with anything, especially our question of the hour, which is, of course, is Drew Brees done as a top-tier quarterback? That question or any other question you have, give us a call. Let us know what you think. But, John, now let's move into our game balls. Let's talk about some positivity, some good stuff that happened today. So, who's your first game ball?
There could have been a lot this week. A lot of high-scoring games, some crazy fantasy DFS guys. I didn't give it to Russell Wilson because I think you could, at this point, you could just give it to him each week.
Every week.
We could probably give him the season game ball. I went with they're both Knicks. Let's start off with the one. I'll put Nick Foles there because you just talked about Trubisky. Again, is like Superman. He goes in the phone booth, puts on the cape, comes off the sideline, and wins games. And
that ability in the NFL is so valuable.
That's why he's still around.
Yes.
Like you mentioned earlier, I don't think he's an elite quarterback. He's not in that top tier if we were ranking him, but he's a guy that can do what he does. And what he does is he comes in when someone else is struggling and looks like a superhero. and bails teams out. And he's bailed teams out before, and here he does it again today. And so I think he's made Mitch Trubisky unemployable as far as with the Bears in 2021. The funny thing is, Drew, Foles probably cost Trubisky his job for next year, and he may not even have the job either. They both might be somewhere
Oh,
else.
yeah.
And
Foles will be bailing someone else out 100%. And I agree with you, Nick.
Yeah, so Nick Foles, another game ball off the bench.
Yeah, no, Nick Foles, I completely agree with you. He like I said, it's a rare talent that is incredibly useful in the NFL. He can come in. He does not need weeks to warm up. He can come in and win games at any time. If I'm a coach and I have Nick Foles on my team as my backup quarterback, I tell my starting quarterback, if your completion percentage drops below this by the halftime, Nick Foles is going in the game. I put that type of pressure on him because that's the type of quarterback Nick Foles is. I think he can come in and win a lot of football games, just not talented enough to lead a team all the way. I just don't think he's consistent enough, but he definitely deserves a game ball today. Absolutely. My first game ball of the day. And I actually got a video that I want to show to, just show an example of something I'm talking about. And my first game ball, they didn't win the game today, but they also didn't lose. They tied. And that's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, to me, we've talked about him a little bit. I am starting to really like this kid. I was not sold on him at the beginning, but I am starting to love this kid. And I want to show you a play that he had today. I want to pull this up and show a play that was he had a lot of phenomenal plays. This game had some BS calls in it, big time. But there is this play right here is just absolutely phenomenal from Joe Burrow. And it's a prime example of just the things that this kid can do and the smarts that he has to step into the pocket, roll out. When he stumbles, he still sets his feet on the run to make that completion. It's a beautiful play. It represents a lot from Joe Burrow. I think he's handling being in Cincinnati, which is a very tough place, let's be honest. This is a very tough place to play in general. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful from Joe Burrow. It's what they need from him. To me, he's exceeded everything I can expect, considering I still consider this the preseason. So, Joe Burrow, I know you guys didn't win today, but he gets one of my game balls.
Yeah, I'm a big Joe. I hate to say this, being he's in my division with the Steelers. I almost wish he was somewhere else because I believe in Joe Burrow. I'm not saying I believe in the Bengals.
No,
but I believe I think they got their quarterback. It's what they put around him that's going to determine whether they compete for the AFC North and the AFC in general. But I think he's got a long, successful career ahead of him as a quarterback in the NFL.
Absolutely. So who's your second game ball?
We're staying with the Knicks. We went with two Dans as goats and two Knicks as game ball guys. And this guy doesn't get enough credit. Because he's has another running back there with him. But the guy, he's not a flashy name, but every year just puts up the numbers. I
still don't know who you're about to say. I still don't know.
You don't? Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb in Cleveland. Just very consistent. Even when Cleveland's struggling, he's usually still performing well. Kareem Hunt, let's be real. Kareem Hunt is a starting running back in the NFL. Yeah. Forget what.
Hold on one moment, John. Real quick. Ben G 1221 from Twitch. Thanks so much for checking us out on Twitch, man. Subscribe to the channel if you can. We're going to be doing a Twitch giveaway here next week. So give you a little head start. But okay, continue, John.
Yeah, and I think Nick Chubb. I mean, he's got a guy that's in the backfield. They share time. Nick Chubb's the guy, but
Yes.
Kareem Hunt's forget the incident in the past. Kareem Hunt is a legit number one back in the NFL, and he can't beat out Nick Chubb because Nick Chubb's that good. And I like Baker Mayfield, but Nick Chubb hides a lot of the warts of Baker by his play. And so I think he gets enough credit. He doesn't do a lot of talking, so he's sort of overlooked. And I didn't want to overlook him today. He had a pretty big game. And, he doesn't have weeks like he had this week every week. But even on weeks where they're not like this week, they're just solid performances. A guy you feel comfortable handing the ball off to. And, when Cleveland does bad, it's not because of Nick Chubb. There's other reasons.
Oh, no, he does. He hides so many of Baker's weaknesses. And like Ben says, he is so underrated. I completely agree. And, that's great that I like giving him a game ball. And my game ball, actually, someone else who does not get a lot of respect. Let's face it, we talked about it a lot. This draft stacked at wide receiver. So a lot of guys to break through. But I've been talking for weeks on a couple other shows, and I've been talking him up a lot card value-wise because I thought he was a great value in the hobby. But Justin Jefferson. Today, he had his coming out party. 7 catches, 175 yards, a 71-yard touchdown. This is on 9 targets. 7 catches on 9 targets. This kid is a legit wide receiver. There is when they let Stephon Diggs go, there was a reason that they weren't worried. And it's because they have him. He has the speed. He has the talent. This kid has the ability, especially paired with Thielen, who can pull some double teams anytime he wants to. This kid has the potential to be absolutely amazing. So, Justin Jefferson, you got my game ball, buddy.
Yeah, hard to argue. 7 for 170, like you said. I think they're going to make it easy to forget that Stephon Diggs isn't there. They're a surprise 0-3 team, but it ain't Justin Jefferson's fault. They got problems on the defensive side, and here we go, another defensive coach in Mike Zimmer, and their defense is not playing well. Dan Quinn, Mike Zimmer. I never really understand that. Is that bad drafting? Is it bad scheme? I don't know, but you can't argue with that. And again, we the hobby does leak into the show because we both come from that side of the tracks. And Jefferson, even though he's not unheralded, he's still a great value to pick up some of his stuff. I don't know about after tonight. You better race and get it because that isn't going to last too much longer. But
Well, hey, we got a question here, and then I want to get to, of course, shit whip of the week before we wrap up and everything. But Ben asks, what do we think about the 49ers this season with the injury plague? We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'll touch on it again. Like I said, I said it on our draft picks preview show this week, or when we took our picks. I thought any line against the 49ers you should take because I thought they were throwing out replacement players that I thought college teams could beat. I was blown away at what this team did. And I think it shows a lot about the organization that they built there. I think the structure that they have in place in San Francisco is phenomenal. It's building a New England style of a philosophy, not like the exact style, but their own style. But they're building a culture that players are buying into. Second-tier players are buying into it. You're seeing it, and I think the 49ers, unfortunately, have been decimated by way too many injuries to have any chance of doing anything big this year. But I think they'll impress some people along the way with some performances like today.
Yeah, man, think about who they're missing. They're missing Jimmy G.
Everyone.
George Kittle, Debo, Samuel, Nick Bosa, and look what they did today. And I know it's a Giants team, but you still went out there and put 35 points on the board. I'm going to answer a little bit differently than you, Drew. I think if they can just, I don't know, these guys that are out are, I think with the exception of Nick Bosa, they're going to get these guys back. And so if they can just stay in the mix until these guys get back, even without Bosa, they still have a pretty formidable defense. And so
they do. And I love their rookies. I just said it in the chat, but I love their rookies. I love their draft class. And I do think they have some potential. If this, like you said, John, if this team can just hold it together until they can get some of these guys back, they're so lucky George Kittle is coming back this year, but I don't know how he is. But, I think they could actually do something and do some damage. And if they get to the postseason, and they're healthy, then that could be a dangerous football team.
And I'm assuming Ben's a 49ers fan, and I think you got to feel good. I think you got your coach. I think you got your GM, in Lynch and Shanahan. I think these guys have proven they're capable. There's stability there, like you just touched on, Drew. Yeah. You have to have stability there to have those sort of injuries decimated.
And the players have to buy into it. Have to buy into it. And when you see backups do it too, it makes me happy to see. I like seeing stuff like that. So,
yeah, I wouldn't rule them out. I mean, once those guys come back and they're still in the mix, they can beat people. And George Kittle, it's the old Kittle versus Kelsey. But I think George Kittle overall is probably the best tight end.
I would absolutely agree with that. So Ben, hopefully that answers the question just a little bit. But before we wrap up the show, guys, there's something we got to get to, John. And I'm making the video for it here soon. But that is, of course, Shit Whip of the Week. And my God, do we have one this week. And I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you saw it. I played a video early today of him and where it showed how talented he is. Well, now we're going to play a video that shows what happens when you play for a shitty football team. And so the winner of this week's Shit Whip of the Week, at least the person given the shit whipping, is a defensive player this year. But Joe Burrow, I'm sorry, buddy. This was a tough one. We'll take a look at it here. This was a tough one. Oh, dude. Joe Burrow gets lit up in this. I know they probably fined this dude like $500,000 and suspended him for 2 years.
That's London Fletcher.
Yeah, I'm sure he's kicked out of the league forever for this hit, but that's just a beautiful fucking hit. Welcome to the NFL, Joe Burrow. This is what happens when you play for Cincinnati. You'll probably be. He was flagged, London Fletcher. Yeah, because he threw the ball. Late. He'd already thrown the ball. It was late.
It was late, and that's London Fletcher saying, "Hey, I'm gonna try to win this game." Yeah, and we stand a better shot if Joe Burrow's not on quarterback in to win this game.
Exactly.
Joe Burrow stayed in the game. I think he was seeing some birdies. Like you see in the cartoons where the birdies fly around the head. Yeah, it was a little bit of that. I saw him on the sideline, trying to figure out where he sort of was. I'm assuming he passed the concussion protocol to stay in the game.
Yes,
and play well even after that. So, like you pointed out earlier, I think Joe Burrow sort of changed in your mind. I was sort of already in on him, and he's done nothing to change my mind that I was wrong. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, before we wrap it up, I do want to show one thing that we didn't get a chance to get to, and that's to talk on Kyler Murray just a little bit. So I do want to get to showing this play. Kyler Murray is absolutely incredible. And this run right here, this was my play of the week. And I am getting more sold on Kyler Murray every single week. I know they lost this game, but this Arizona team is starting to gel. But Kyler Murray is something just incredibly special. Like I love this kid. Like just the video.
Naked bootleg. I was wrong on him. I didn't think he was going to be to
but
this
watch
level.
the shape.
Matter of fact,
watch the
I
shape.
thought, yeah, that was like Madden. That was like Madden juke stick.
Yes, like this right here. Like watch this shake is just beautiful. Like I mean,
if that was Chris Berman, he'd say whoop
whoop. Here we go. We got it, and a whoop whoop, and a whoop. There we go. So I wanted to point out there. I wanted to give a little bit of props to him, and then another one that I wanted to show before we wrapped up today's episode was a welcome to the NFL moment. As a lot of people might not know, this is a guy I think is going to be incredible. He had his debut play today, and that is, of course, Jalen Hurts. Welcome to the NFL. Solid start with another nice little bootleg here. Designed run, but solid play by Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts looks like he's getting implemented a little bit into the Philly offense. So we'll see what happens from there, in the near future. I think Carson Wentz definitely has someone on his toes. But Hurts did have his very first play today. So just a couple of videos. Wanted to call attention to a couple of quarterbacks that had some good fun today. As you know, a lot of times we don't have time to touch on every single team in every single game.
You know what I learned today, Drew?
What's that, John? We're
going to see a lot of quarterbacks wearing different uniforms next year.
Absolutely.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. And, we see the league, in the quarterback position translating back over to those running dual threat guys, the Lamar Jacksons, Murray, Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, even Tua when he gets his chance. And that's the way the league's going. I was hoping Jalen Hurts was going to be wearing black and gold. That wasn't to be. He stayed in state, just wrong team. Yeah. But again, you might see Carson Wentz might be wearing a different jersey. Philly fans right now would string him up in the town square, and and Philly fans are a fickle bunch, and when you're playing well, they love you sort of, and the minute you show any signs of not playing well, they want to kill you. And Wentz right now is in that latter category rather than the former.
No, absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode of Roughing the Passer. Definitely check out. Looks like we might have a good ending to this game. Green Bay's up 27-20 over New Orleans. There's 2 minutes left in the third quarter in that game. We'll take a look at Newman and mine's picks. Hopefully I can catch a little ground. Newman is on fire with his picks lately. So hopefully I can catch a little bit of ground, but we'll have our picks up later this week for week 4. But thanks everybody for calling in. Please call in next week as well. We love answering y'all's questions or just talking about your team's game. Like if you just want to talk to a couple of guys about your team's performance, give us a call. Let's chat about it. But thanks to everyone that called in. Thanks for all the first time viewers. Welcome everyone from Twitch once again. Newman, got anything before we go?
Yeah, I want to, we love everyone, whatever platform you're watching us, but obviously with Twitch being new this week, shout out to them, Ben coming through on Twitch, but don't let Ben be the only one from Twitch that gets the floor. We'll be back Sunday nights, every Sunday night, 9:30, and we're here for you. Let's talk about your team, everyone else's team, what you're seeing. You don't agree with something we said, let us know.
Let us know.
And or if we know everything, which I believe is the case, let us know that too.
Yeah, the second one you're right on. But if you think that we're wrong, you're welcome to call in and be wrong yourself. No. But once again, thanks everyone so much for tuning in. And like I said, the picks for week 4 will be out towards the end of the week. But got a great ending to this game. It looks like coming up. Should have a fun Monday night game. Everyone be safe this week. And we'll talk to you next week. See y'all later.
Roughing the passer calls.